and gentlemen, what the world's been waiting for, what the world needs now, the one, the only, amazing, original Johnny Blaze. Often imitated, but never duplicated. There's Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to the amazing original Johnny Blaze show. It's always great to be here as I blaze right in with my karate kick. Let's have a blazing hot fun time. Two wealthy businessmen were vacationing at a resort, and one asked the other, "So how did you get your wife the presents for her birthday?" And the other man replied, "I bought her a new home on the West Coast. And that way, if she ever divorces me, I will still get to keep my first house on the East Coast." "That's very similar to what I did," said the other man. "I bought my wife a sexy negligee and her favorite sex toy. And that way, if she ever complains about her present, she can go screw herself." Where do homeless accounts live? In a tax shelter. Did you hear about that cannibal tax accountant? He charges an arm and a leg. How come politicians never pay rent? Because federal prison has always been free. We have a blazing hot fun show with a special guest. He's a multi-talented Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and guitarist. So please give a big warm welcome and say hello to VASTI Jackson. Yeah, I see it now. Can you see me?
I do. Very good, actually.
Okay, ready. All right.
Original Johnny Blaze. I got something for you. See, I got my red shirt on because you're blazing, right?
That's right. Hey, how about that?
Amazing. Original Johnny Blaze.
I love it.
The amazing. Original Johnny Blaze.
Wow.
I'm so happy to be here in your space. The amazing original Johnny Blaze.
Wow, that's blazing hot and awesome. Yeah, I love it.
All righty, man. Thank you.
You got a red shirt. He even wrote a little song for me. How about that? I'm honored. I'm very honored. And you look great yourself. You got a nice little blue hat. You got a nice red shirt. It looks fantastic.
Red shirt is for the blaze. You know, the B is for the blues. You know what I mean? I got the light there, so I got to get my shades on so they don't blind me.
You're all set. You're all set.
Very well.
VASTI. Okay, VASTI. Okay. Anyway, VASTI, let me give you a rundown. Tell me about the VASTI Jackson story. How'd you get started in entertainment, and where are you from?
Well, I'm a musical. I come from a musical family. My name is VASTI Jackson. I'm from Macomb, Mississippi. And believe it or not, man, I've been a professional musician since 12 years old. So that's 50 years, man. And started making music around the house. I was the noise maker, the eldest grandchild of Sammy and Mary Jackson, who were both musicians, singers, guitar players, harmonica players. So all my uncles, aunts play instruments. My mother, everybody sang. So it was just music really is just a celebration of love and family for me.
All in the family. That's great. I applaud that.
Mm-hmm.
That explains where your musical genius and talents come from.
Yeah, it's sort of a natural thing. Praise God. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. You started at, you were how old? About 5 or 10 years old?
Actually, I mean, I started fiddling with a guitar, I guess, around 11 or 12. Instruments were always around. And there were lots of musicians, older musicians in the neighborhood in Macomb, Mississippi. That's like, you know, the birthplace of Bo Diddley and lots of other people there. And it's a big gospel blues scene there has always been. And so I started playing with the older musicians when I was 12 years old. I went on to Jackson State University under a musical scholarship, emphasis in percussion, and started working at Malaco Records, which is a big soul label in Jackson, Mississippi, when I was 18 years old. And so that was the largest independent soul label. And with the likes of ZZ Hill, Bobby Bland, Johnny Taylor, and then the gospel arena, the Williams Brothers, the Jackson Southern Airs. And so that's really how things started.
It's great. Did you teach yourself how to play everything, or are you self-taught, or did you basically take any lessons?
As I said, primarily from my family. And then once I got into high school, I began to study music formally, percussion and voice and music theory. And so that's what got me the scholarship to Jackson State University.
Well, that's phenomenal. So you're in Mississippi. My favorite performer was in Tupelo, Mississippi, Elvis.
Oh, yeah, Elvis Presley, man. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Tupelo, Mississippi, by the way.
Right. It was Tupelo, Mississippi, of course.
Yes. Uh-huh. Well, you know, Mississippi has the most Grammy winners per capita than any other state in the union. So there's you got so many.
Not very far. Now you're in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Is that very far from Tupelo?
Yeah, I'm probably about 3 hours from Tupelo. I'm southern Mississippi.
I see.
And we call this region the Piney Hills region of Mississippi. Whereas you go up, you know, past Yazoo and on into Indianola and Clarksdale, that's the Mississippi Delta. And then you got Gulf Coast, Biloxi, of course, that's the coast, you know, the Gulf of Mexico, the Mississippi beaches.
Well, I'm sure it's beautiful over there.
Yeah, it is a little cold right now.
I'm sure it is too. Oh yeah, very cold. Yeah. Well, you're used to it and you love it. So anyway, yeah, tell me about some of your performances now. First of all, what kind of music do you go for? Is it rock? Is it pop? Is it country? Is it folk? Is it classical? Is it rhythm and blues? A little of everything.
Well, you know, everything is rooted in the blues.
Yeah.
In American music, yeah, and especially in popular American music. You know, the blues had a baby, what? Rock and roll, yeah, from Robert Johnson and the blues, but it's also Mississippi. You're talking about country music. The Soul of Jimmy Rogers CD album in 2016 was nominated for a Grammy in traditional blues. Now, Jimmy Rogers is the father of country music, so I do all different styles of music. I work with Dr. John, the Doobie Brothers, B.B. King, of course, Wynton Marsalis. So it kind of goes far and wide. And I also do musical theater. I did a piece called Robert Johnson, the Man, the Myth, the Music. Robert Johnson, the father of the blues. And then we did another musical called America's Blue Yodeler, which is on Jimmy Rogers, the father of country music. So it's kind of the bookends when we look at Mississippi. You know, you got everybody from Elvis Presley, right? To B.B. King, Tammy Wynette, you know, Conway Twitty, Marty Stewart, you know, you can just go, the staple singers. You can just go on and on when we talk about, you know, musicians who came from Mississippi. Absolutely amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And so we do a cross section. I also work with an organization called Playing for Change. And we have right now about 20 schools in 15 countries. And it's making the world a better place through music. And, you know, we have guest artists from all over the world. Bono from U2, Taj Mahal, and Kev Mo, Buddy Guy, and of course the list goes on and on. Yusuf Islam, formerly known as Cat Stevens. Last year we released a video with Cat Stevens called Peace Train, and so right now we're finishing up a project with Steve Miller. You may remember the song "Fly Like an Eagle."
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Now, Play for Change. Now, are these concerts worldwide? Or are they all over the place? And are they for
They're worldwide?
Anybody that wants to go, or is it for unfortunate people? What is it, Red Charity, or is it some kind of a?
We have a foundation, but I mean, what we do is, let's say we'll take a song like "Stand By Me," for example, and we can start the recording in L.A. or Mississippi or New York, and then we'll go to Brazil, maybe put a percussionist on it, go to India, put someone playing sitar. Maybe we'll go to Senegal and get someone to do the kora. So it's truly world music, because we have musicians participating in the songs and the videos all over the world. And you can easily, you know, go and check this out. It's www.playingforchange.com. And thank God we just had so many people join us on projects, you know, iconic artists, you know, the late, great Jimmy Buffett. We have just so many other folk that are joining in into develop these programs. So it's not just music programs, but it's music as a tool. We work with the Ladies Society, a Mother Society in Nepal, and we're in Guguletu, South Africa. We're in Rwanda. We're in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We're in Argentina. We're in Brazil. We're in Mexico. And it's a wonderful organization, and it's been very well received on an international level. And you know, we're in LA as well, New Orleans, other places here in the USA.
Now, who's the one that created and started this? Is it you, or is it many other different people?
Mark Johnson and Whitney Cronkey are the founders of this, and just great vision on Mark's part. Mark is a great engineer producer in his own right. And while in New York, going from studio to studio, he would hear these street musicians playing. And, you know, just the organic aspect of it said, you know, I'm working in all these studios and I'm hearing such great music on the street. So I'm going to bring the studio to the street. And he started recording buskers. And then he began to record something on the street, go in the studio, do an overdub. He's in LA. He gets someone to record in LA. So we started, he started videoing as he would record and video the people outdoors and indoors. That's how that developed. So it's really a combination of truly musicians collaborating from all over the world, from everywhere, you know, from Beirut, to Boston.
Wow. So you have all kinds of people that you've performed on these. And what is the largest and the smallest crowd that you've ever performed for? And you travel all over, what you're telling me.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've internationally concerts and festivals and projects since 1989. I think the biggest event was the Brandenburg Gate in Germany. I think that was New Year's Eve, maybe 2019. I think we had 1.7 million people physically there, and it was broadcast, you know, across Europe. And I think there was maybe 8 million people who were actually viewing it in X number of countries. And that was with a production that I was doing called Simply the Best, the Tina Turner Story, which was another musical, a stage play, and where I was playing the character Ike, and I actually wrote some original compositions for that particular musical. And that was the biggest. Now, as far as the smallest, I don't know, because I love playing music. You know, maybe if you're the only one there, I think maybe you may be the smallest audience. But I love doing house concerts, man. I love playing. I love, you know, the exchange of music. Yeah.
You just love it in general, all over.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think
we have a new CD that was released this year called Royal American Blues that we're excited about and getting some great response on. And it's a combination of blues, funk, soul, Americana. It's mostly electric, but a little bit of acoustic. And so we're happy about that.
So that's your latest album, right? Did you create that recently, or?
Yeah, we released it in August, Royal American Blues.
Fantastic. And how did you go about creating that? Did you come up with the title and create the album and all of the songs below it in the album?
Well, I mean, the blues is the classical music of America. And so that's why I called it Royal American Blues. And when we think about the aspect of royalty, and when you have names like B.B. King, the king of the blues, that's where the royal was inspired. America, of course, because it's an American art form. You know, jazz has come out of blues and country and rock and roll and soul and funk and all of that stuff. So that was the thing. I am a patriot. I love the USA. It's a wonderful country, one of the greatest countries in the world. I won't be egotistical and say America is the greatest country in the world. There's so many great things about America, but there are many great things about other countries too. Now, am I biased for the USA? Of course I am. That's why I live here and I love it. And even though I've been to more countries that I can name or count at the moment. So America is royalty to me.
That's fantastic.
Who
was your there's so many artists. Who are your greatest inspirations as a singer and songwriter that you really look up to? I mean, I know you met all kinds of people.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you know, there's two kinds of music, good and bad. That's it. You know, for me, If we're looking at the aspect of classical music, Stravinsky, Rachmaninoff, Mozart, Bach, whomever. I mean, in jazz, you got Duke Ellington, you got Count Basie, you got all of these wonderful people. We can't, not mention the late great Quincy Jones as well. Then, you got rock and roll, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Led Zeppelin, Jeff Beck. You got country, Johnny Cash, Marty Stewart. You got all kinds of people. And of course, when you say blues, you just cannot. First, what's going to come out? Robert Johnson, B.B. King. Yeah. And then you move, on a little forward to people like Taj Mahal, Buddy Guy. And then you even move up a little bit more. You have, Stevie Ray Vaughan and all of these people. So, and in funk, what you got? Parliament Funkadelic. It's just so much great music in the world. When I'm basically speaking about the music in America, we could go with reggae with Bob Marley and the Wailers and Burning Spear, and we could just go on, man. It's just
wow. So all those people you're mentioning are all your inspirations, I take it.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's so much incredible music. There's no way I could just settle on saying that I enjoy one style of music.
It sounds like you like them all. The same for music. You like all kinds of music, what you're telling me.
Absolutely. It's either good or it's bad. Either you feel it, it speaks to you, or it doesn't. And of course, taste is subjective. But I just find that there's so much wonderful music, beautiful music, inspirational music, even if it's not in the English language. There's something that it can communicate to you, whether it's Indian ragas, whether it's Japanese koto music. Yeah, so I love it.
Do you prefer cover music, or do you prefer originals, or you like them equally?
It's not a preference, man. I mean, as a composer, I love composing music. But as a composer, I respect other composers.
I see.
So therefore, if someone else does something, you say, oh, wow, that's very interesting, very unique. What a feeling. I didn't think about that. And we can do a lot of things, but none of us can do everything. And, it's so much that we can't, even though we were creative, we just can't imagine and think of everything. And then from a mental standpoint, to get these stuff out of you, from the inspiration to something tangible for someone to hear, let's say in Europe or Africa or Japan. You know what I mean? So there's only so many hours in a day. So there's enough room for everybody. The pie is big enough for everybody to get a slice and enjoy. So I do enjoy other bands, other composers, other genres of music as well.
I see. Now you also have a single out recently. It's called "She." Describe to me, how did you go about creating that song? That sounds like a
That song was inspired facially the power of women. And, there's International Women's Day. So I wrote the song. I was actually in Kigali, Rwanda, in East Africa. And they have more women in parliament than any other country in the world. So that was probably the first inspiration. And then the aspect of, women being capable of anything they can imagine in terms of art, science, business, government. So I wanted to say something about that. And, so that's how the song came about. She's a woman and strong she stand. She can do anything that a man can. Oh, yes, she's beautiful. She's kind. She's tough. Whatever it is and whatever it takes, she is woman enough.
I think that's very, very catchy, very beautiful, and really makes sense.
Well, I love women.
Well, yeah, I can tell that. I can definitely tell that. If you didn't, you couldn't write such a song, right?
Yeah. And actually, I was named after a woman. VASTI, V-A-S-T-I. My mother wanted a daughter. She wanted a girl. So she had picked out this name, Vashti, V-A-S-H-T-I, who was a Persian princess.
Really?
I was born, had a little something extra. So she took the H out. So if I had been a girl, I would have been named Vashti.
Oh.
Since I'm a male, she named me VASTI, no H.
No H, VASTI, okay. Yeah. Like a vast and a tie. There you go.
Oh, or a vast eye.
VASTI. Yeah, wow. I like it. It's unique.
All right.
Right. Well, have you had, You work with any did you meet or work with any celebrities? And if so, tell me the various experiences that you've had working.
Well, I don't know about the celebrity thing. I work with great artists, great musicians. I'm not quite sure I know what that. I have to go to Wikipedia, make sure I get the proper definition for celebrity. But I work, with so many artists as a producer, as an arranger. Of course, like I said, B.B. King, Harry Connick Jr., Wynton Marsalis, Cassandra Wilson, Dr. John, the Doobie Brothers, Little Feat, and it kind of goes on. Denise LaSalle, and I'm just think. Excuse me. So just lots of various artists, throughout the years, in more than a 50-year career. Bobby Rush, Taj Mahal, Irma Thomas. Wow. Yeah. So just and it's.
How about Michael Jackson? Did you ever meet him?
I did not meet Michael Jackson. No. Okay. Which would have been great. And I loved Michael Jackson, and I love the Jackson 5, of course.
Right. I just interviewed my last show. I interviewed Linda Peaches from the group Peaches and Herb.
Yeah, fantastic.
One of the songs, remember, Reunited, and It Feels So Good. Remember that?
Absolute classic. Absolute classic.
And you remember the other one? Let's see, shake your
groove thing.
Your groove thing, right? Exactly. Yeah, she met Michael. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the king of pop. Yes.
Did you ever meet her? Did you ever meet Linda Peaches?
No, I did not.
Never did. Okay. That was very entertaining. Very entertaining show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, let me ask you something. So there's so many things. Now, have you ever had a show? Okay, describe your most memorable show and a show in which you tried so hard to make the show work, and for some reason, no matter what happened, it did not work. And if so, what did you do? How'd you handle it?
Well, I have never experienced a show that didn't work. They work. Some work better than others, and I think there are times when there may be a technical thing that make you have to dig a little deeper, and you generally cultivate something that you would not have if you had not had that stress. So it's about being flexible, right? Being able to pivot, and we might even say improvise. Now, one of the a unique show I think was in Austria, maybe Bregenz, Austria, where they have this stage that's built at an angle over water. So you go from platform to platform, and they actually move at certain times. The interesting thing about that is you were hoping you never got at such an angle where you ran or you jumped and you slid off stage into the water. So that was the most interesting performance that I've ever had in terms of unique. And as far as I'm thinking now about any real calamities, thank God, knock on wood, fingers and toes crossed. I've never fallen off stage, and I've never fell on stage. I've been shocked. I use the term shocked because when we say the term electrocuted, it seems a little more severe. So you have these arcs sometime from grounding, and it's a horrible jolt. And but that, I think, is really about it. Over the years, you have things that happen. You're in the moment and you're performing and you step on the base of the microphone and it's not super solid, and maybe the mic tilts and hits you in the mouth. I've had that happen. Luckily, it didn't break a tooth. But those things occur on stage in terms of accidents or mishaps, but never anything to really just stop the show and the show couldn't go on. Maybe some lighting difficulties or sound difficulties, but not really. No,
You say you've been shot now. Which way were you shot? You weren't shot with a gun, but you were
shocked. Like an electric shock.
Oh, shocked, not shot. Okay, shocked.
Yeah, and that's why
shocked. Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say, well, I've been electrocuted, because that's a little more severe. But you get shocked because of grounding on stage. there's some water or something, or the electrical is not quite what it should be, and you're holding the guitar and you touch the mic or something like that, and you get a shock.
I got you.
But nothing severe.
Nothing. Nothing. In other words, nothing real dramatic. Everything has worked out generally, pretty much. What you're
Pretty
telling
much
me.
it has. Yes.
Knock on wood. That's great. I'm glad for you. Happy for you.
Yes.
What is your largest audience you've ever had and your smallest audience you've ever had?
Once again, the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin was the largest. That was like maybe 1.7 million people on New Year's Eve, which was they call Sylvester. And I mean, you just could. I mean, it was block after block after block after block after block after block.
That's giant. 1.7 million. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then it was telecast, so it was probably 8 to 11 million people seeing it throughout Europe.
Wow.
And the smallest, I don't know. I've done house events, private situations, songwriters, where there's 13 people or there's 40 people. And those things are wonderful as well. I enjoy the intimacy of that as well.
Now, on your shows, have you ever have any performance anxiety before you get ready to do a show at all?
No, I don't have anxiety. There's a beautiful nervous tension. Yeah, I think sometimes you're excited, or sometimes you may even be a little rushed, cutting things a little tight. And I think that little bit of anxiousness is a good energy. Yeah, sometimes you take a deep breath, you say a prayer, you know what I mean, before you go to calm yourself down if you're really kind of hyped up. But I mean, it is a mission for me anyway. It's something, the energy to exchange with the people, because music can be entertaining, but it's much more than entertainment.
Right. So you've never had a performance in which you have forgotten the words of a song, or maybe a guitar string broke or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, that's great when those things occur, because you have to improvise, you have to pivot.
Right.
So if you forget a word, you forget a lyric, just compose another lyric.
So that's what you do. You just come up with something else, create
something. Just change fingering.
I got you.
Yeah.
And in every aspect of life is rejection, especially in entertainment. How do you handle rejection, or have you never been rejected at all in your life?
Oh, of course, we're all rejected sometime, I think.
Right.
I think how do you handle rejection? Man, I'm on a mission, and I know that everything ain't for everybody. Okay. So most of the time when people reject it, it's not for them. That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't take it. I don't let the applause go to my head, and I don't let, as an example, the booze or the rejection go to my heart.
Okay.
I'm on a mission. And once again, if I touch X amount of people or one person, they really get it, that's who it's really for. And everything just is not for everybody. I don't like sushi.
Right. Well, it's like Ricky Nelson said, when they're going to throw rotten eggs at him in Madison Square Garden, because he wasn't singing his earlier popular hits. So he came up with a song and of course, performed it. If you can't please everybody, please yourself. The Garden Party song, right?
It's a wonderful song. I love that song. And I think that's very important. I think it's very important. And just to be sincere. You know what I mean? If you're sincere about the music you're composing and that you're performing, the music is for the people. It is not to try and ram it down their throat. You know what I mean? It is a gift, and you don't force people to accept the gift. You present it. Hopefully they receive it with joy and appreciation. That's as much as you can do.
You're spreading love. You're spreading entertainment and spreading love, and hopefully people understand that, receive it, and they really enjoy it.
I've been doing this for I don't know, man. What am I, for 53 years now?
That's a long time. That's a long
time. So evidently they've been.
It's worked.
It's been working. So
it must be working. Otherwise, you wouldn't have lasted 53 years.
Yeah, and I'd still do it because I enjoy it. Yep.
Well, that's important.
I enjoy composing and producing and arranging and performing live. Yeah.
So you produce music, you perform.
Mm-hmm.
That's you perform live and you produce.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've
Absolutely.
done music videos also. I'm sure you've done that. Talk to me about that.
Some, but you can find them on YouTube and Vasti Jackson. And you can go to my website, vastijackson.com. Of course, there's Facebook and there's Instagram and all the social media things now and TikTok and all of that. So it's a very interesting time. And for as technological developments that we have seen, let's say over the past 30 years with the internet and well, further than that, let's say 50 years when we talk about cell phones and internet, now AI and so forth and so on, and all of this social
And
media.
artificial intelligence, that's right. What's your process, creative process to creating a music video? What's involved in it when you do it?
Well, the first thing is, of course, the music. And then the music kind of gives the story or the inspiration for imagery. How do we further express the content or the message or the communication of the music through visuals? That's where it starts at. Now, whether we choose to do something on location or we choose to do something in a studio, sometimes, depending on the director you have, of course, you're going to listen to their opinion and their suggestions. I'm not a videographer. That's not my forte. So it's very important to be able to delineate authority. And when you don't know, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions and listen to someone else's opinion. And you don't have to follow it, but at least someone may stimulate something in you, or they just may have a better idea.
I see. Well, yeah, the only way you're going to find out if you don't know is to ask, of course.
You're absolutely correct.
And of course, no one knows everything. You can always learn new things as long as you're alive.
This is absolutely true.
That's right. Well, that's important to learn.
Yes, sir.
Now, on your shows, on your entertainment shows, do you do any meet and greets, sign autographs, and pose for photos?
Of course we do, because it's about the people. Now with all the streaming and the downloading, we still, a point of contact with the audience. We bring CDs and stuff and photos because, people want to have memorabilia. They want to carry that moment home with them with something that's tangible, not just a memory. And so, of course, it's so important to connect with the people. That's why I was saying earlier, I'm not quite sure I know about what the true definition of the word celebrity is, because I know it is so important that humanity is always there and that we are neither above or below our audience, the people who choose to take their time and their money to come out and have an experience with us. We treasure them and we appreciate them. And we're, so the term celebrity is, I don't know about that. An artist, of course I am. A musician, of course I am. A humanitarian, of course I am. Am I the guy next door? Of course I am that too. We are all more than just one thing. I'm a son, I'm a father, all of that stuff. I'm a grandfather now. So within that, it's about the humanity of it and connecting with people and for people to be able to get close. I'm not a spectacle. People can experience excitement during a performance or a show, and it may be spectacular. But once the lights go down and I'm off stage, yes, I'm just a guy that loves music and loves people.
Well, that's fantastic. That's very important. If you don't love what you're doing, then you're in the wrong business. You obviously love it, and you love it. You put your mind, body, heart, and soul into what you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's very important. If not, you could just do something else to make a lot more money much easier.
Well, that's wonderful. You love what you're doing. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people that hate what they're doing. They're forced to do it, but sometimes you got to do what you don't like to do to get what you want. But
this is very true. This is very true. It's the old saying is if you do what you love, you'll never work a day at your life doing that which you love. You may need to work somewhere else and combine those things. So for me, doing music, does not appear as a job for me. Now, there may be things attached, whether it's the travel and whether it's this, that, and the other. But when it comes down to just, either performing or creating the music, That's part of my joy, part of my worship, part of such a, you know, part of my existence. It's very important, like breathing, sleeping, eating.
I assume you're a solo artist, right? You don't have a band, or maybe you do.
I work as solo, but I mean I have a band. I work with orchestra and all kinds of configurations.
Oh,
Yeah,
you do have a band. Okay, even though you're solo. Okay.
yeah.
What's the name of the band, and how did you meet the people, and what do they do? What instruments do they play, and where?
Well, there's just a broad spectrum of musicians that we have all over the world. And as a matter of fact, I'll be in New Orleans. I guess that's next Saturday, the 14th, at the Dewdrop Inn. Uh, and so those Keiko Komaki on keys, she's from Japan, and Donald Thomas is from New Orleans. Chris Barker on bass, he's from Mississippi. For this particular event, it's just a quartet and myself. And so you meet people at festivals and clubs and recording sessions and things like this. You form a bond, and we've been working together for years. But we don't play every event together because there are so many different projects of different styles that just a slew of musicians literally all over the world.
What's the name of the band that you're talking about?
VASTI Jackson, just like
Oh,
just like
by Jack. Oh,
yeah,
just
if
named after you.
you have Beck or Carlos Santana, you know what I mean? And yeah, but those are the musicians, that I'll be doing this stuff. We've done some things in New York together, and we'll be in New Orleans next Saturday.
That's great. And so
Yeah.
you've done. It sounds like you've done a lot of touring. Talk to me about all your touring, and you've gone all over the world in different places. And the ones that stand out in your tours and favorite venues that you have.
Well, not necessarily a favorite venue, but things that stand out is like doing a tour in Norway, in the winter, where you basically only have maybe sort of a 3 hours of dusk, and it's basically night all the time in northern Norway, up around the Arctic Circle. I mean, those things are very memorable because it's just very unique. Also, performing in the Sahara Desert, those things are unique, quite unique. But there's so many beautiful places throughout the world, of course, whether you're performing in Japan or Paris or London, or someplace. And of course, here in America, whether it's, New York, LA, Beacon Theater, so forth, the Apollo Theater, there's so many incredible places. But the two that came to mind, of course, like I said, was Norway and the Sahara Desert. And I guess it's kind of extreme. Some extremely cold and dark at night to extremely hot and sunny in the Sahara Desert. So those are, two of the most unique performances. And I've been touring internationally since 1989, sort of all over the place, South Africa.
Okay, wow.
Morocco, Tanzania, of course, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Uruguay, Australia, Switzerland, of course, Italy and Portugal and Sardinia.
France, Paris and France. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just so, Britain, of course, UK,
Well,
Ireland. Yeah.
England, Ireland, Australia. Yeah.
Yep. Down under. Yeah.
You've seen the world. That's what it sounds like to me. You've
A
seen
lot of it, man. A lot of it. Yeah. Even Ukraine or Ukraine, before all of this stuff that's going on there. Yeah. A very beautiful country and wonderful people as well.
Gotcha. Now, as far as the music goes, you probably I really like all kinds. You prefer happy or sad songs, or you like them equally? It doesn't make any difference.
I mean, there's stories, man. It depends on the story. You know what I mean? A good story, a good melody, I think there's a time and there's a place for everything in terms of storytelling, because life is comprised of so much, There are happy times, there are sad times. There are mellow times, there are exciting times. There's the seasons, there's winter, there's spring, there's summer, there's fall or autumn, however you want to call it. So you think about the weather, the climate, the things that may have happened in your life at this time or at that time, and we write about it. So some of them are happy, some of them are sad. Now, for me, I'm probably going to write and perform at least 85% happy. You get me? I'm not going to, play, let's say 85% sad songs and 15% joyous songs, right? No. And I say it like that because a song can still be sad and be up tempo, or it could be happy and be slow. So it's really, when I think about happiness and sadness, I think more about the story than just the musical accompaniment.
So you think of the story, but you prefer the upbeat, happy songs over the sad. That's what you're telling me. It sounds like
it is in terms of preference,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how do you go about writing songs? You write music or words first, and how do you get your ideas in songwriting?
Hey, it's just like the amazing original Johnny Blaze. That's an inspirational 4 words, right?
Yes, it is.
There you go. And so you hear something, you say, "Oh, blaze, fire, red shirt."
That's right.
It's an inspiration, and and you can make the story short, or you can make the story long. Blaze started off with a strike of a match, a small flame,
right?
And then we added fuel to the fire, and the blaze got higher. Ooh-wee, it was amazing. The original Johnny, blaze. I mean, improvisation. I mean, it's something that simple. You can start off there, and you can have a motif,
right?
And then you can elaborate a little further, a little more, rhythmically, melodically, harmonically, in terms of composition and arrangement.
So you start off with stories, and you come up with words and ideas. It sounds like.
Yeah, of course. And then you want to make sure that you don't speak too fast when you start, because people really need to hear and process what you're saying, or even what you're playing if there isn't a lyric. And speed is a good thing for excitement, but we got to make sure there's room, left for the listener to comprehend, to feel it in a certain way. And when we speak, we breathe. So music has to breathe too. It just can't be sound all the time. There needs to be some silence and some pauses.
Variety. So you like telling a story. It sounds like whenever you write music, great music.
It's important, and that's what music is. Music is a story. Okay. Even if it's not lyrics, the melody tells a story. The rhythm tells a story. Yeah.
I see. Talk to me now about the shows that you've done. That done any television, radio shows, and also some other podcasts.
Well, we worked on music for HBO. We worked on music for Stars Encore Cable. There's a project we did called Last of the Mississippi Jukes with Morgan Freeman. And I think for was it the New Orleans Tourism Department, and lots of things like that. The Super Bowl in New Orleans, music for commercials, of course, things like that. Music, what was it? The Late Night with Jules Holland in London, stuff for Norwegian television. So lots of different, over the years, television things and theater things, as a performer, as a composer, as a musical director as well. So yeah, and then we have a documentary that's in works that'll be released in 2025. Right now, the working title is VASTI, Jackson and Friends. Of course, that could change, but we're looking at probably March of 2025 for that to be released. And there are other projects that'll be released in video form from Playing for Change as well.
Well, you're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, happy person, right?
I don't know. I think I'm about as busy as I want to be right now. And I guess it's the holiday season too. So I'm enjoying the flexibility of not actually being on tour. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't feel like being on tour. I see.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, life is about balance. Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes it's a Saturday night and I want to be available to be on the amazing original Johnny Blaze show.
I'm glad you made the time. I'm really glad, VASTI, that you made the time to be on our show.
Yeah, in Central Time, 11 p.m. Normally Saturday night, I'm going to be on stage. Yeah, next Saturday I'll be on stage.
Right, but I'm honored that you're a guest on my show and that you've taken the time to be on the show. I think that's fantastic. That's blazing amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely blazing amazing. We'd like to thank Molina and Sarah for hooking us up.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say that. I want to give a shout out. Melina Moy is a friend of mine. She worked with me in a telemarketing job, and my boss Brian Chester, who's from England, said he let her leave the job early to pursue what was in her heart, which is to make it in show business. And
Wonderful.
she made a giant as a left-handed guitarist and singer and songwriter and tours and all kinds of awards. And anyway, in fact, I saw her in Hollywood. I saw her show the Hard Rock Cafe, and her publicist Sarah made it possible. And I asked her if she knew other people in the business. Sure enough, so Sarah hooked me up with the last one that I had, Linda Peaches Davani, and now I'm talking to you because of that, VASTI Jackson. So it's important to network. That's very important.
It is, man. And they're beautiful people, and the energy is wonderful. There's some great symmetry there. So once again, when they told me about this, I was okay. Well, don't worry about it. Yes, that's the date. I'll make time for it. So I'm glad to be here.
Like I said, I'm really glad that it's worked out and you are here.
Yes.
And that's an honor and privilege for you to be a guest. I don't take anything for granted, and I do my best to be as prepared as I can be on each guest. You are my 74th episode now.
Wow. Wonderful. Kudos.
Yep. We started in, producer of mine, a friend of mine said the shows were going on Zoom. I had never heard of Zoom. And so when the pandemic came about, it was 2020. My producer and I, we decided it's a two-man operation to do this show, and we've been doing it ever since.
Nice.
And loving it, truly loving it, and met all kinds of interesting people. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, like I say, that's fantastic that you're doing it. Thanks for, I was going to go ahead and do a shout out, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, great. They deserve it and more.
Yeah. I never take anything for granted. I never take anything you take for granted, you can lose, of course. So,
right. It's possible. Yeah.
That's right. So you've done some TV, you've done some, it sounds like you've done some podcasts and some radio shows also.
Yeah. Yes.
Besides this show, of course, other ones.
I haven't done my own podcast, but I've been guest, and video interviews and things of that nature. There's a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and so so we've been working in over the years back and forth in Africa, but we've been working in Ghana and Morocco and Ethiopia and Tanzania, since COVID came in 20. So we've been back and forth from Africa about twice or three times a year, to various countries and developing projects and teaching there as well.
And you have your own podcast. What's the name of your own podcast?
I said I don't have a podcast.
Oh, you don't have one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, you never
maybe
know.
I should start one.
So a lot of people see a podcast is nothing knocking a podcast. It's very popular. And especially he thought of that, see, in 2020, a lot of people were home because of the COVID. A lot of people would be home. And podcasts are very popular all over the world. But I tell people that my show is better than a podcast. And, it's interesting. People are creatures of habit. Even I tell them you can not only hear on my show, you can actually visually see it, that it's better that way. You know what they do? They go right back to podcasts.
Okay.
No matter what I tell them, they're comfortable with it and they go back.
Okay. Well, I like the interview format. I like the exchange. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like to talk to people. I like to see what makes them tick and find out about them. And that's how you find out, is you ask them questions and try to interview them and be as prepared as you can be.
Yes.
That's important. Treat other people the way you want to be treated, of course.
This is true. Absolutely. And it's good, man, to see what's going on in other people's world. Yeah.
Sure.
And sometimes, we feel like we can kind of be in a bubble, even though we're traveling. A lot of times, you see early tours, I would, it was plane, train, bus, hotel, stage. Now I'm making a point to always keep a little time in between so that, we're here, so let's have a day off so we can see the city or go and do this and do that. Because otherwise, you'd spend all your off time let's say, vacationing to places that you've been on stage, but you really didn't see the city when you were there. So now I make it a point to bring things up a little bit, not just a string of one-nighters, one-nighters. Where you do 3 or 4 shows, then you have a day or 2 off, to see some things, especially with people who haven't traveled a lot, musicians. So I want them to have the opportunity to, see some of the iconic locations. If we're in, let's say, Rome, then you want to go, see the Vatican. If you're in Paris, maybe you want to go to the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower, just certain things.
Well, it's important to change it up then. Everyone to know, right?
Yeah.
It could be too stale and everything.
Absolutely.
Any particular artist that you'd like to open up for at all?
I haven't thought about that. No, I mean, I really can't call anybody's name. It's just that, I love playing, so that's it. We want to, just keep doing it and keep growing and, do bigger things, more fun things, more wonderfully artistic things, add more smiles to people's faces and do different things.
That's important. You play guitar now. What kind of guitar do you play? Is it electric, acoustical, or both? Is it lead? Is it rhythm? Is it bass?
Oh, all of the ones that you quoted. Yeah.
You do everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is there anybody in particular you ever wanted to collaborate with? I know you worked with other band members and other people. Is there anybody in particular that you haven't?
Collaboration right now. Well, when I was a kid, in high school, there was a wonderful band, and you may recall the name Tower of Power.
Tower of Power. That sounds very familiar. Yeah.
Very, very amazing horn band. And now you have people like Snarky Puppy and things like that who come from that, let's say, that ilk. So, and they're still around and they're still performing. So maybe I'll just have to, find a way to make contact with them. Right off the top of my head, that comes to mind. If there was someone I want to work with, Tower Power.
Tower Power. Okay. Yeah. You never know. Maybe you will be able to.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like they say, Tom Hanks, life is like a box of chocolates. You never quite know what you're going to get. Hopefully it's something sweet. Forrest Gump.
Absolutely. Bubba Gump, baby.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you've done theater also. Is there any theatrical performances that you've had to stand out in your career?
Well, I mean, as an actor, yeah, I mean, the Robert Johnson musical, the stage play, that wasn't a musical, where I played Robert Johnson and I had to do that music and that character, Robert Johnson, the man, the myth, the music. And I think that's a link on my website. And then the thing that we did, Tina Turner, Simply the Best, the Tina Turner story. And that was out of Berlin, Germany, which I didn't know the theater market was so huge in Europe, where I was playing the character Ike Turner and the composer for that musical.
Oh, that's great. You played Ike Turner, your husband. That's great.
And then there's one called America's Blue Yodeler, and that was on the music of Jimmy Rogers. And I played the character Hobo Bill, stage play. And I think the last one, the Tina Turner thing was the last one, but before that, we were doing one called Hell and High Water, where I was the composer, musical director, and one of the actors. So, either way, I mean, if it's acting, if it's music, if it's behind the scenes or center stage, it's fine for me.
I see. Did you ever meet Tina Turner? Did you ever have the opportunity?
I did not meet Tina Turner, the iconic queen of rock and roll. No, I did not.
Okay.
I met Ike years ago.
Ike, yeah, you played him. You also met him. Okay.
I mean, I think Long Beach, California, matter of fact. Yeah.
Tina Turner, I mean, she had a career with Ike. Of course, that's where Ike and Tina Turner, but fortunately she was able to escape Ike because he was abusing her, and she was able to get away from him and have a good life.
I think he was able to get away from her too.
Well, it works both ways.
Well, listen, man, there are no relationships that are completely one-sided.
No, I know it works both ways.
So now, listen, I wasn't there, but I mean, in terms of just when we talk about relationships, you know what I mean, and so in the business and all of that stuff. And at that time, as things developed, she, as you said, she was able to get away from that situation, and she had a wonderful career,
Right.
Musical career with Ike, and she had a wonderful career as a solo artist after Ike and Tina Turner. Her solo stuff is absolutely amazing as well.
She's
Queen,
awesome.
Kathy Tina
Another great singer performer is Whitney Houston. That's another one that was great.
Absolutely wonderful, amazing. Yeah, so many.
Whitney Houston, you ever get no?
I've seen the show, but I never did see her, meet her personally, not one-on-one. But I did perform live. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, she was something. Really was
Mhm.
something. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the greatest people ever. Happy memories. Unfortunately, some of them got involved with poor habits and addictions, drug addictions, and are not around anymore. So
This is true. Yeah.
this is unfortunate. Yeah.
Very much so.
Every day you're above the earth is a blessing. You can be here today, gone tomorrow. That's right.
I think so. I mean, we have the opportunity, man. Every day is a rebirth. Another day, another opportunity. Yeah.
That's correct. I think that's wonderful. I think it is wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, last time I was wondering, if you had to do anything over again in your life and your career, would you do anything differently?
Ooh, let's see. Yeah, I would learn more early on about business in general. I think in terms of this public education, that by the time people get out of high school, I think they should really know about investments. I think they should know about the tax system and things of that nature. I think they should really, there are certain life skills that I think in public education that they should make mandatory. So what I do differently, I would want to do those differently because those things are available and they are foundational education points that are taught in public school. I think by the time people graduate from high school, they should know about banking, investments, taxes, basic life skills, not just textbook stuff in terms of, algebra and so forth and so on. I think they should have a basic concept of a little bit of auto mechanics, a little bit of whatever, carpentry, plumbing, electrician, stuff like that. I think those things are so paramount. And even in terms of nutrition, I think that that by the time kids graduate from high school, they should really know about organic foods and, what preservatives and so forth and so on. You know what I mean?
So you're saying they should know other things besides just regular textbooks, things that they're going to deal with in the outside world in life.
Deal with this stuff anyway. I mean, come on.
Right.
You should know about, you know about compound interest, man. Before that should be a requirement before you get your high school diploma.
I got you. But if you had to do anything over again, though, in your life and your career, would you do anything differently, or would it pretty much be the same as what happened?
No, I think for me, because of the way things develop, for me, it's unique. It wasn't cookie cutter. It wasn't just, you went to this school and you got this diploma and you met this, and it wasn't really like that. It was a bunch of amazing, wonderful encounters. I'll put it like that. And over that journey, I just don't think anything that these experiences sort of make you what you are.
So you're content. It sounds like you're very content. You're very content with your life, the way it has.
I think so. I think I'm a happy person, and I'm grateful, and I'm content in that sense. I have 2 sons, they're doing well. I have grandchildren, they're doing well. I get to work when I want to work, and I get to do what I want to do in terms of my art or my career, however you want to call it. And people are still interested and what I do, and I get to make a lot of noise that people find pleasant and joyful, and they want to pay me for it. Are you
So
kidding?
you wouldn't do anything differently. You're happy the way it was in the
Well,
past. The way
I'm happy. Let me say that. What would I've done? I probably would have got braces on my teeth. And my mother told me when I was, a teenager. You know what I mean? So I
right.
mean, if we really look over this, so what all I got, I would have gotten braces. I would have did what my mother said. Are there other things like that? Of course there are. That's different than regret. But I think there are things that, as far as where we are in certain things, I don't know, man. I've really, and I do really enjoy what I do.
That's very important. Okay, so in general, you're happy the way things turned out, and you might have not done too much differently, maybe a little something different, but in general, things worked out well for you and your
Well, in
guitar.
general, absolutely. Yeah, in general, once again, I get to play music and make a living at it.
You're very fortunate that you
Are
can
you
do
kidding?
something that you truly love and make a living, and not everybody has that experience.
Absolutely. So what am I gonna, how can I be ungrateful for that? I'm not gonna go, oh, I wish I would.
Oh no.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm still receiving emails and people are still, for lack of a better word, hiring me or booking me.
Well,
People still, I mean, come on, man. And I get to meet beautiful people and I get to make all kinds of music and and I'm still learning so much. I'm excited about this stuff, man. I
so
am.
you truly love singing, songwriting. Out of all the okay, you love what you're doing. Now, out of all the different things you do, whether it be recording music, creating music, writing music, or performing in-person performances, which is your favorite and why?
Neither is my favorite. They're just part of this big, beautiful ball.
What did you say? I didn't hear that.
Neither is my favorite. They're all part of this beautiful ball. You know what I
Oh,
mean? It's just, when I'm alone and I get inspiration and, and I write it down and then I start recording it. That is so wonderful and unique unto itself, so there's no comparison to performing live. And then you get the feedback and the energy from the audience live. That's a thing unto itself. So it's not that I like any of those things better. I appreciate them for what they are, and they're absolutely fantastic, and they're unique to a sense. Yeah.
so you like them equally. You like every single one of them equally. There's not one thing that stands out that's your favorite out of them all.
No. See, man, music is from inside. Music, you may express it on an instrument or guitar or with your voice. Now, I just don't have this big preference to say I only want to express music in front of other people. And I think if that's the case, then you probably don't love music. If you have to have an audience, you don't have to have an audience to love music.
Yeah, you can still love it. It's true, music without an audience. But it's nice to have an audience, isn't it?
It's great to have an audience. Nothing like it is beautiful, necessary. But music itself, that stands on its own.
Well, yeah, you could listen to music and enjoy it without having an audience. That's for sure.
You can create it without having an audience.
Right, that's true.
And you can perform it without having an audience. The audience is a wonderful, wonderful component. And that's why I say these things, it's like, it's like saying I love water more than I love food.
That's it.
I mean, they're both necessary and the water quenches your thirst, like an apple can't, but a water can't give you what the apple can give you.
Right.
See? So within those things, I just value the unique beauty and the diversity of this stuff. Yeah.
You love them all equally. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Like culture. It's like culture. It's like people, it's like, oh, well, they do it this way. Wow, how beautiful, how unique. Let me experience that.
What do you think about your opinion about the talent shows out there? Things like America's Got Talent, X Factor, The Voice, or American Idol. Do you feel that those kind of shows really bring value to aspiring people who want to make it in show business and be successful? Get out there. What is your opinion?
There's a place for it, but I think in terms of artistic development, that's just a different thing. I mean, if you see the thing about music and art is that they can be so unique, whereas you may have someone that will never, get a vote on American Idol, but they're still great artists. You could say Macy Gray. You know, they're looking for some big dynamic thing that hits the masses like this and backstory. There's a lot of things that are involved, and that's okay. It is what it is for what it is. But there's something about the organic development where, you know, the experiences of life sort of tune your voice and your phrasing that you just cannot get sometimes unless you actually go through some things and you live X amount of years. There's always going to be some, what do we call prodigy, right? That's
Right.
going to all of this, wow, at 12 years old. There are going to be some of those. And they're going to be great artists or singers that actually get on one of these talent shows and receive, you know, great recognition. But what happens there a lot of times, you know, if you don't marry that with the right song and the right presentation, see, it's not just that. It's not just on a talent show because the audience is getting something that's put into a small bubble and it's really, really condensed. So now, if you take that artist that won, if they don't have the right song and the right producer and the right something, they have a great voice, but they have to have a vehicle to carry that voice. And that's the song and that's the production, right? And you're seeing people do one song as opposed to an hour show, an hour performance. Once you get in the real world and you're touring and things like this, guess what? You're going to be on stage 45 to 60 or 70 minutes. Now, are you just singing this one song great, or do you know how to perform on stage for an hour, 15 minutes? It's a different process.
Whole different.
It
So
is.
because a person does well on that doesn't guarantee they're going to have success in the business afterwards, right?
Of course not, but it's a great platform.
I got you. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what about, okay, is your success, okay, there's people that, you know, that all the time that audition for different roles, whether it be acting or singing or, you know, whatever they're doing. It could be commercials or whatever. And they put their all into it, the performance of the audition, right? But they don't get the call back. I'm sure they feel terrible about that. Has that that's never happened to you in your life? Or
Of course it has. Of course it has. But I think the thing is that, you know, after a while, you understand that taste is subjective, and
Right.
that, you know, you may be great for it, but there may be just this one thing or three or four things that the producer or the director is looking for that they don't see in you. Doesn't mean that you're not great.
So it doesn't mean you don't have talent. It just means that you don't have exactly what they want or what they're looking
Hey,
for.
oh man, you know, I wish you were 3 feet taller. I
Right.
wish that you were 7 inches shorter.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, there's something about the way you pronounce that word. This may not be as refined as we'd like, or just not be stylistically like that. You may walk in the room and your energy just may not be the energy that they're looking for. It doesn't mean that you're not.
Right.
You just may not be.
Once you give up, you're finished. And just because if one door closes doesn't mean another door could not open up. It's possible another door can open.
Oh, absolutely. And someone may say, listen, I really like you. I don't think you're right for this, but we have another thing that I really like to invite you to audition for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody is not perfect for everything.
Right. Now, if a person hears compliments from, let's say, a talent booker or a producer on a show, the compliments may sound nice to the ear, right? But if you don't get the call back, then they don't have as much meaning. It just means they said it's like it's the old saying, if it costs people money to talk, they keep their mouth shut. It has to add up to millions of dollars. In other words, it's not just the compliments, it's the action. Will they think the person is so highly that they'll actually call that person and put them on the show? Or are they just mouthing nice words just?
Well, I think, of course, that does occur. One thing that we know at a certain level, everybody is good. Everybody may not be great, but at a certain level in the industry, everybody that's in that circle is really good.
Of course.
And so therefore, and most professionals actually know about their own skill set. So whether someone compliments me or not does not inform me, listen, of that which I know.
I see.
If I know that my skill set in this area is not as strong as it should be, no matter how someone compliments me, I know that I need to what? polish that a little bit more.
I see.
And if I know I've done an excellent job and someone says that was horrible, I know that it wasn't horrible. See, presentation and perception are not the same.
You can believe in yourself and feel that you're real talented and persistent on something. And even if you hear compliments, that's nice. But if you don't get the call, well, I look at it that way, then it's their loss, whoever's not putting you on.
It could be, but there are some things we can go on feeling and some things we can go on truth.
Right.
And that which we know. There's a difference between believing something and knowing something.
Right. Well, you can't make or force anyone to do something. It's, if they have a show, it's up to them. They're going to pick who they want, and they can have all kinds of people that come to them. And
someone has an idea in their mind. They've already formulated that which they want.
Right.
And I don't care how great you are. If you're not that formula that they've already locked into,
right,
then that you're not part of the equation for what they want to develop.
I got you.
They're not bad and you're not bad. They're not wrong and you're not bad. They have a formula. They have an idea. They have this picture in their mind. And this they want, and you may not fit their picture. It does not mean that you're not good.
I see.
It also doesn't mean that you're not bad either.
I see. Okay.
I mean, when someone wants oysters, they don't want a donut.
That's true.
Maybe the greatest donut the most flavorful donut in the world.
Well, different strokes for different folks.
You go. You said it.
Yeah, one person's treasure, someone else's trash, right? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what makes the world go round. Okay. Well, if you don't get the part, you weren't what they wanted.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you don't have talent, and maybe somewhere else, something else will come about.
I think with most people it does. I mean, I don't care if you're speaking of Denzel Washington, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whoever you're talking about, you know what I mean? John Wayne, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Wood, you know what I mean? James Earl Jones, you can go down the list. They are not right for every role.
Nobody is. That's for sure.
Someone.
Right. You have any advice for people that really want to pursue all these things, and whether it be acting or singing or songwriter or doing commercials or anything in the business or doing a comedy or dancing or anything involving the entertainment? What's your advice for them if they want to become successful, no matter they know how difficult it is? What's your advice to them?
Success, the word success is not static. You know what I mean? And it's not one thing. What's for success for one person may not be success for another person. Somebody says, man, if I could just get to Madison Square Garden. Man, if I could just be on this television show. Man, if I could just make $1 million. Someone says, oh man, I won't be successful until I make $1 billion. So success is not the same for everyone. Now, if you love it and you enjoy it, then that's the first thing. I wouldn't do art in terms of saying, I got to do art to make money. Nah. So I would do it because I love it and I enjoy it. Because it's kind of difficult. If you don't enjoy something, it's kind of hard to convince other people that they should enjoy it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So when it comes to that type of job, that's a little different, you know what I mean, than doing asphalt on a highway, you know what I mean, or building bridges. A little different. So when it comes down to something where you're going to be exchanging with people, something that is supposed to be delightful, for lack of a better word, then you better be delighted about it.
Of course.
You be delighted about that which you're bringing to people to delight them.
Right, because if you don't like what you're doing, people see it.
They feel the energy.
What you love.
They feel the energy. Yes.
Of course. If you're not having a good time, you're in the wrong business. You better do something else.
I agree.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, VASTI, do you have any present projects right now going on? Tell me about some of your present projects.
Well, the present projects that we have going on, we're working with an incredibly talented young man by the name of Keith, Prince of the Delta Blues Johnson. He is the great nephew of Muddy Waters, the great blues icon. We're working with another young lady who's absolutely exceptional. Her name is Red Velvet, and that's her stage name. And Crystal Tucker. And so those projects are going on. And of course, we're always developing things with Playing for Change as well. But those are the things that are on festival that are on the table right now.
Now, the people that you say you're working with, what are you working on? Anything particular, or
Oh, we're working on the album project with Keith Johnson. That'll be released in 2025.
Project with Keith Johnson. What will you be doing exactly in that project?
It's a blues album.
Oh, it's a blues album.
Fully, yeah. He's the great nephew of Muddy Waters.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
Working on singles with Crystal Red Velvet Tucker.
Oh, wow.
And so we're also working with Donald Harrison, the great jazz saxophonist. And once again, the documentary VASTI Jackson and Friends, which will be probably spring of 2025.
Fantastic.
That's what's going on. And we, there are some live dates here in America and in Europe.
Great.
Else, I think, no, that's it right now.
That's it. Do you have any future dream projects you haven't done yet, but you really love to do in the future? You haven't been
I don't really have a dream project. I really don't, because all of these projects that I'm doing are just absolutely incredible dreams that are coming to life
right now. Okay.
Right now, and that is a sort of a continuous thing, and some of these things are literally beyond my imagination. So I'm excited for what's to come. You know what I mean? Not that I know everything that is coming.
Fantastic.
And I'm enthused about it as well.
You have a lot of great things coming up, a lot of blazing hot and awesome projects and things going on to look forward to. That's for sure. Great adventures.
Yeah. Man. So,
that's, and what was that?
That's what's kind of on the table right now. And, and we're just, what else was there? No, just tours in Europe, and work in Africa, and then some things here in the States. That's what's on the books right now.
Tours and states, and your documentary coming up, and then working with those other people for the blues project you're talking about, right?
Keith Johnson, and Crystal Tucker, and then
right,
doing dates in Switzerland, Italy, Spain. Putting together a tour for Europe this summer.
Wow.
So, the summer of 2025, of course.
You said those people were related to Muddy Waters. You said they were related to. Okay.
Keith Johnson is the great nephew of Muddy Waters. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's great. Well, that's a lot to keep you busy. That's something to be excited about and to look forward to. All those projects.
Yes, sir. And we're doing a presentation in honor of B.B. King, because 2025 is his centennial anniversary, the 100th year of his birth.
Oh, really?
So we're doing a big concert in honor of the King of the Blues, B.B. King, as well.
That's fantastic. April. Yes, I salute that. That's fantastic. Yeah. VASTI Jackson, if people want to find out more about you, tell me about the different links: entertainment website, Facebook page, YouTube channel, imdb.com, Spotify, Instagram. There's imdb.com page, or perhaps there's a LinkedIn
all of those, and VASTIJackson.com, www.vastijackson.com, and then there's the same on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all of that stuff. So reach out, say hello. I'll be sure and hit you back up.
Fantastic. Sounds great. Well, you know what? Here's a time, ladies and gentlemen. We've a very important time on this show. It's called Showtime. Woo. And it's starring you, VASTI Jackson.
Starring me? Well, let me grab my guitar to match my hat.
Oh, really? Okay, I was gonna play some of your songs here. I have them, and if you want to play along with them, go ahead. Okay.
Johnny Blaze. Original Johnny Blaze, and I'm so Johnny, that you had me in your space. The amazing original Johnny Blaze.
I love it. Wow, I love that. That's cute.
All righty, buddy.
That is cute. I had some other impressionist and comedian in the past who was impersonating me. That was cool also.
All right, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, the headliner in Vegas.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, Johnny, thank you so much for having me, brother.
Pleasure. I'm going to go ahead now. We are going to have Showtime with you, VASTI Jackson. So we're going to go with the first song. And the first song is called Voodoo Boogie. Have a blazing, amazing time, ladies and gentlemen. Voodoo Boogie from VASTI Jackson. We're blazing forward.
All righty.
There's something in the air, and I can feel it. Oh yeah, that jungle beat, get in your feet, make you get up out of your seat. It feels so good, you can't sit still. It feels so good, oh what a thrill. That voodoo boogie, voodoo boogie. That voodoo boogie, voodoo boogie. Well, it's good for your body, yeah. Good for your soul, yeah. It's good for your mind, yeah. Make you have a good time, yeah. Feel the groove, yeah. And do your thing, yeah. 'Cause when the music hits you, yeah. You feel no pain, yeah. That voodoo boogie, voodoo boogie. That voodoo boogie, voodoo
Yeah, that's from the Royal American Blues CD, the new one.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, really? Where did you say that was from? I didn't hear that again.
The new CD, Royal American Blues.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the
Blues?
first album.
That's your new album, right? Yeah.
It is.
Fantastic. Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, that's hot. That's great.
Thank you.
It's got a great boogie, a beat to it. We have another one now. We have a final song here, VASTI Jackson, and the song is called "She," about the women's movement empowerment.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Have a blazing hot, fantastic time, amazing time. All right.
Yes.
She's a woman, and strong she stands. Yes, she can do anything that a man can. Oh yes, she's beautiful, she's smart, she's tough. Whatever it takes, she is woman enough. something else I'd like to say. She goes to work, yeah, she gets the job done. She takes care of home and leaves nothing undone. She can be a wife, mother, and best friend. Yeah, she's the boss. She can be the president. Congratulations, Madam President. She is woman enough. Yeah, she can do anything. Oh, she is woman enough. Just do what you wanna do. She is woman enough. We believe in you. She is woman enough. She is woman enough. Just do it. Hold up, one more verse. She can be a doctor and a lawyer too, an astronaut and engineer. She can do anything that she wanna do. No, the sky ain't no limit, 'cause she can fly beyond the moon and stars. She is woman enough. Let's give her some applause. Congratulations. She is woman enough. Yeah, she can do anything. Oh, she is woman enough. There ain't nothing she can't do. She is woman enough. We wanna thank you. She is woman enough. She is woman enough. Thank you. Thank you.
All the women of the world.
Yes, for all the women of the world. That's a Spark of Genius song.
Well, thank you.
That really is. Oh no, it really is. It's blazing hot and awesome. It really is. It really is. VASTI Jackson. Yeah. I love it. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You're certainly welcome.
We want all the women to know that that's, you know, a celebration of them and a prayer for them as well.
Well, I think that that's fantastic. I'm sure all the women in the world will truly applaud you and salute you for what you've written and produced. That's something to be proud of. It really is.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Well, you know, VASTI Jackson, the time has gone by fast. I've really enjoyed having you on as a guest on the Amazing Rich Johnny Blaze Show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And you continue to blaze more trails. I'm sure you will, in entertainment and in life. Keep going forward. Don't look back. You're accomplishing quite a bit. You love what you're doing with every bit of your heart, mind, body, heart, and soul, and you really do motivate and inspire people all over the world for what you do.
Well, it's you know, I'm honored, and it is a privilege to have it to do and to be received time and time again, and to share with people all over the world, and of course the youth.
It's my pleasure to talk to you and interview you. I really have enjoyed it.
All righty, Johnny. Likewise. Thank you again, brother.
Okay. So what I want to say, I'm going to say to all my fans, as I get ready to wrap up and close this show, I always say to all my fans and friends, always keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. And until next time, happy trails and blaze out.
Ladies and gentlemen, If you would like to be a guest on an entertainment talk show, please send us an email at amazingoriginaljbshow@gmail.com. All of our episodes will appear on YouTube and Facebook and receive over 3,000 views. Don't forget to sign up for our YouTube channel, and every guest will receive a complimentary DVD of their appearance on the show. Remember, we are much better than a podcast. And now, the amazing, original Johnny Blaze has just left the building. Good night. God bless.